While skill is usually associated with complex activities like playing an instrument or a sport, most everyone performs skilled tasks in their daily lives. As learning any task progresses, adaptive strategies develop and task-relevant stimuli are suppressed. Processing of the environment and internally generated cues then become refined as the pattern becomes a skill. Skilled research has identified that experts exhibit less overall coherence and cortical activation in the sensory-motor cortex relative to novices. Occasionally, in vulnerable individuals, activity in these pathways can go awry with overpractice. This can result in focal task-specific dystonia, FTSD, a disorder that affects a once refined movement and causes abnormal contractions in the muscles associated with the movement. Interestingly, these symptoms are only present when the affected person tries to perform the specific dexterous task. Studies performed on STSD patients are relevant in examining the nature of skilled movements because they allow researchers to observe electrophysiological patterns associated with the disorder closely related to skilled movement. Patients with FTSD exhibit a reduction in beta band functional connectivity in sensory motor areas compared to healthy subjects. More so, FTSD patients report greater variability in response times between sequential responses that show no difference in error rates. Essentially, our study was interested in discovering how skilled and unskilled movements differ by examining oscillatory activity in the beta frequency of the sensory-motor cortex, which is associated with motor planning, execution, and inhibition. Oscillatory activity was collected using electroencephalography, a process of recording brain electrical activity more commonly known as EEG. We had 5 main research questions we addressed in our data collection and analyses. We anticipated we would see 1. No difference in percent of responses incorrect between trial types. 2. Greater variability of response times during skilled trials. 3. Reduced fluctuations in sensory-motor beta power, such as desynchronization and rebound, during skilled compared to unskilled movements. 4. 4 separate sensory-motor beta power decreases and rebounds within a trial for each character of stimuli of the sequence. And finally, 5. Reduced fluctuations in sensory-motor beta power over all trial types for people with a higher skill level compared to those with a lower skill level. This experiment explored the differences in skilled and unskilled conditions through a keyboard typing task consisting of 2 different trial versions designed to emulate a more familiar task and a foreign task. Participants saw either a string of 4 numbers or a string of 4 letters as a stimulus in each trial. When participants encountered a letter stimulus, they typed the corresponding letters as usual using standard typing techniques. This was considered the skilled version. When participants encountered a number stimulus, they used a finger that corresponded to a specific number predetermined with the subject before the start of the experiment. This condition is thought to be less practiced, so it was deemed the unskilled condition. In our behavioral analysis, we saw no significant differences in error rates between trial types. Variability in the first key press times also showed no significant difference. However, the variability between second, third, and fourth responses were significantly greater during the unskilled trial types. The variability in later responses is not consistent with FTSD patient results, but does confer with data from previous skill-associated behavioral results. We found there was no significant difference in beta desynchronization between trial types. We did, however, see decreased beta power driven by weaker beta rebound after the 4th key press in skilled trial types compared to unskilled. This decrease in skilled beta power is consistent with EEG signatures observed in patients with FTSD. Additionally, we observed an unexpected increase in theta band frequency activity during the skilled trial types immediately following the trial onset cue. We speculate at this stage that the increase in theta activity after observing the character stimuli may reflect a variation of conflict detection. This occurs when interference of irrelevant stimuli affects a participant's internal processing of relevant stimuli. Because the skilled trial type presented letters in a random order, participants may have experienced this conflict as they saw characters but no words and had to suppress irrelevant information that may have arisen from this conflict. We hypothesized that we would observe 4 separate beta power decreases and rebounds within a trial, but our results more closely resemble the continuous reduction in beta power throughout the trial. This may infer that participants did not observe each stimulus individually, but rather observed the string of stimuli prior to making their first response, and perhaps programmed the 4 button presses as a single motor command. Our final EEG analysis compared sensorimotor beta power fluctuations to participant typing proficiency. There were no significant correlations observed in skilled or unskilled beta power values and typing ability in either side of the sensorimotor cortex. Although this was unexpected, similar results declaring no significant correlation between proficiency and beta power have been reported in skilled literature. This study takes on a new approach of emulating expert and novice conditions in a single subject and observing how the conditions change their behavioral patterns and sensorimotor beta activity. Our findings contribute to the field of skill-related research by examining skilled conditions performed in healthy people as overtrained movements with the potential connection to FTSD. Thus, our study suggests the need for further investigation in this relationship between skilled movements in healthy people and FTSD patients.